So the title of my talk is Technology Entrepreneurship for You? And that is, I don't know who thought of that title, what a terrible title. So I've immediately decided to throw it out the window. And I'm going to speak about comparative literature in postmodern, post-neoclassical, post-Republican times. What I am going to speak about is, I think the title of my talk could be options. So options. Everybody understand options? Really know what options are? Because I think this is the right way to look at what you might be able to do going forward. This is not going to work. Very tight. There we go. All right. What you might do going forward in terms of developing technology, ideas that come from your laboratory, and forward as a business opportunity, either by yourself or in partnership with other people. Well, it's always going to be in partnership, but the question is whether you lead it or not. If you look at your strike price, this is the price at which you are buying. I will destroy the technology or kill myself by the end of this talk. One of the two. That is the price at which the stock starts. That's the expected price of the stock at the time in which the option is called. The option becomes active. So the payoff of this, of course, is going to be $0 until that price, and then something like that, right? If the price on the day that you exercise your option is greater than the strike price, then that is your payoff. And of course, you had to buy this option, so your profit is this guy, right? Everybody understand that? That's a call option. And then a put is just the opposite, or not just the opposite, but it's you have the strike price, and of course, this is the price of the underlying asset. This is your payoff, and this is your that is your profit from having something, and that's what a short seller does, right? You're betting that something's going to go down, so you get that second one. But what I want to talk about is mainly going to be the first one, but there's this, we're going to come back and look at this, especially the left side graph, because the axes don't have to be about stock prices here. It could be about something else. And there's a whole field of things that corporations use now that has gone beyond the ways of looking at return on investment, or the oil industry, return on capital employed, ROCE, net present value of a particular capital investment that they might make. That's the ways they've looked at things. And the problem is that those things do not build in, those things look at only specific possible outcomes and what each one of those would do in terms of getting a return on investment. Options allows you to factor in the whole pantheon of possibilities, and therefore to get a better true value of something going forward. So when corporations today look at building a factory, for example, that's an option on the left side there. And if they look at selling a factory, closing it down, something the auto industry might be thinking about these days, that's something on the right side. But also, as you think about yourself as a potential entrepreneur, really what we're talking about is options, but the y-axis is not just dollars, okay? And the x-axis is not just the price of some underlying asset, equity or whatever. So as you go through this, we're going to come back and think about options and what it means. But I'm also going to be talking about what it is that you might expect and what it is that you might run into as a faculty member getting engaged in entrepreneurship or getting engaged in the process of trying to create value from your research program, value from your own brain, and then realize that value for yourself going forward in, this is very important, in partnership with your university. And that's an extraordinarily important and must be always remembered as the nature of the beast. Now, when I looked at the lineup of talks today, So it looks like a great lineup of talks. It does look like the talks are geared very much in terms of a how-to of being an entrepreneur. And the speakers might run into the danger of making an assumption that you're already speaking to somebody who has a technology or has something in the lab ready to evaluate. And it might be a mistake to think that there's too much of a tangible thing. So I'm going to make sure that I cover as much of the intangibles and uncertainties in my talk in preparation for going forward into the rest of the talks of the day. Because if you look at the titles there, well, that's a great lineup of talks about how you might go and build some venture and go out and make a success of yourself. So so let me just briefly give a synopsis of my experiences, and then I'll get into it in a little bit more depth. I've been involved in intellectual property as a faculty member from the earliest days when I joined the faculty. And unlike most of the people in the world, this is only the second employer I've ever worked for. So I'm absolutely violating many of the rules of how to get ahead. In any case, my entree to intellectual property was sown from the seeds of disaster. I arrived at a university that was highly research active. I had a choice of multiple universities to become a faculty member at. And at these universities, I was bringing in a very sophisticated electron microscope that was really going to enable that university, whatever, because I ended up actually going to Japan and speccing out electron microscopes, transmission electron microscopes. Japan dominated the market at that time. But going to Japan and speccing out microscopes for actually multiple universities that were all going to employ me, and they actually all bought that instrument. But then I only went to one university. So, and by the way, and it worked out very well for them. And this was an instrument that was able to get down to atomic resolution. So be able to see the individual atoms in the materials. And it was, as I used to say, this was long before the word nanotechnology was around. I've been doing nanotechnology since before we knew what to call it to get more money from the government. But in any case, this instrument came in, and I had joined a university that I chose for this reason, because at the other universities, there was either going to be a major amount of oversight of the facility that this instrument would be part of, meaning at a state university, it was if you want to do anything in the facility, you have to get approval of the Board of Regents of the whole state university system. So that university was scratched off the list right away. There was another state university that had a committee of faculty that I was going to be a member of to oversee. I didn't like that idea because it seemed like I didn't have free action. And being from New York, I see a conspiracy everywhere, and including how the Red Sox win. It's got to be a conspiracy. But in any case, I felt like if I'm going to be getting tenure, it's going to be something that I have to do, and nothing's going to hold me back. That's basically my attitude when I was an obnoxious youngster. Now I'm much more refined and at peace with the world. In any case, so I went to a university that said, you know what, you're in charge. And in fact, not only was I in charge, they handed over the keys to the facility that had all the existing electron microscopes within 1 week of me arriving as a wet behind the ears assistant professor. And what I soon discovered was you're in charge means we provide nothing for you, it's sink or swim. This is the environment that I was in. But I also discovered when we first brought this new microscope in that it would not function.